get started. So, good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday, so that's exciting. Tuesdays are always exciting, and Joe and I were talking about it this morning. And Tuesdays are exciting for some, and maybe I don't know. I don't want to say disappointing for others, but it's one of those things where you feel like you've clocked in and you don't reap the reward, or haven't reaped the reward for the week, or whatever efforts you've been putting in. And definitely not an alone feeling there, because I remember, back before successes started happening and things like that in a monetary form, because I think there's a lot of successes that happen throughout our business, whether it be, and it's not like take money out of the equation. There's a lot of successes in this business that happen daily, and it can be, you got, a new potential on Facebook, or you got new followers on Instagram, or you impacted someone just via a post that you made, and they sent you a message talking about, what an impact that had on them for the day, and thanked you for the post. I get those messages a lot, actually. And so for me, those are successes. I look at those as successes, and I don't equate everything to money. And I honestly never have. People ask me a lot of times about the rewards plan and different things like that. And, I don't think of people as okay, I'm going to get $15 on my next paycheck because of this order, or I'm going to get X amount because, I just don't have that mindset with things. And frankly, I don't think any of us should, because when you sign up a customer, maybe that customer is going to turn into a promoter. So there is no dollar sign there, because, people ask me how much money I make on a customer. And honestly, I can't tell you, because I'm still making money on that customer that I signed up from day one. So it's not like that, and so to me, that's a big thing with looking at Tuesdays, as far as reflecting back to your efforts for the week, and the seeds that were planted that, that sprouted or didn't sprout, just those sorts of things. So I don't ever want somebody to look at a Tuesday like it's a negative, because it's not. Because there's definitely different phases as far as paychecks and I don't know how to explain that, different things along the way. I know when I first started doing this, and I remember, like, we were just on fire for telling people about how this product worked, and still am, and so it's just kind of always been about that. And so when Tuesdays came and we made, $30, it was like, oh my, I cannot believe they gave us $30. And all we did was tell them about how great this product worked, and so that's just kind of always been our mentality behind it, because it's never been about whether or not this person order is going to make a difference with whether I'm successful or not, So I just wanted to say that out loud, because Tuesdays don't define you as far as whether you're successful or not successful, or anything like that. And it's funny, because I always bring it back to farming, just because that's something I know, and Rochelle will understand this and appreciate this. And I don't hinge everything on that one seed that I planted, because there's a good chance that there's something wrong with that seed. Maybe it won't sprout, and if it does sprout, I have no idea when it will sprout, and it's one of those things, and I may never know why it didn't sprout, and it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the seed. I watered it the same. I did everything the same. Like every single thing I did was exactly right. And it just didn't sprout. I don't know why it didn't sprout. And that had everything to do with the seed. It had nothing to do with me. And so I always think about things like that. And then all of a sudden you'll have this rogue seed that plants or that sprouts, and you're like, where the heck did that one come from? Like, I don't even know. and it's one of those things that, like, you don't even know what you did, but somewhere along the way with the daily things that you do, you impacted that seed, and you watered that seed. You didn't even know that you watered that seed, but you watered that seed, and all of a sudden you got this sprout, And so I got to read Rochelle's comment, because I have seeds that lay dormant for a year or two, and then it sprouts. Yeah. And that's why we wake up every day and we do the things that we do, because we just never know who we're going to impact with that. So I listened to quite a few things yesterday and this morning once again, and So self-development is always going to be a big topic for me. And literally this one YouTube video that I watched, and it's for people that are in our company. Just so you know, I'm not just watching videos on rogue things that, you know, don't really apply to us. They do apply to us. And they literally had this entire Zoom on self-development. And the reason is because self-development has everything to do with where you're going to go. And you know, it talked about how you're in control of your own mind and the things that you think. And they equated it as like your personal development equals your paycheck. So how much you're feeding your mind every day, how much you're tweaking things and growing things and doing these different things, a lot of times will have to do with that. And yes, there's going to be some people that are successful, you know, and they haven't picked up a book in their life, you know, and that's, you know, but imagine what would happen if they did, you know. It's just kind of one of those things. So always put goodness in front of your eyes and in your ears, first thing in the morning. And I can't say that enough. Yesterday I had something happen that was like super negative first thing in the morning. But luckily I had woke up, I had done my devotion, I had fed myself some positivity in the morning. So whatever it was, it kind of made me mad for a few minutes. And then I redirected it and flipped the script, so to speak, and fixed it. So I turned it into a positive, you know? And so, hence my video yesterday morning and the thing about, how positive things are. And, you know, I don't know, I just have so much passion for positivity that I just don't allow negativity in my yard. It's just one of those things. I say it all the time, but like I have an allergy to negativity. So because it like makes me sweat and break out in hives when people start doing negative things. So I can listen to negativity for a second, but then when I start feeling that feeling, I'm like, okay, I got to get out of this. I got to fix this. And even if you're calling me saying something negative, I'm like, okay, we got to put a positive spin on this somehow. We got to fix it. So that's something I always want to start with is self-development. And I know you guys are probably tired of hearing that by now, but it's something that never changes. It's something that, and maybe if something that you're reading isn't giving you that, you know, switch books, switch audio, you know, switch what you're doing, switch. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's sometimes that I'll start reading something and it's really good, and then I kind of go stagnant on it, and I'm like, I need something else. Like I need some other kind of breath of fresh air. And I get nervous when I only have like 2 books on my shelf that I haven't read now. Like literally it makes me nervous because I don't want to run out of goodness, you know? And so, and that's why I did that self-development reel and things like that. So I just wanted to kind of start with that this morning. And then we're going to go ahead and go into, doing our, I'm assuming by now you have done your 3 steps in your stories. If you have not, then you definitely want to get your 3 steps in your stories first thing, because consistently that's what we do every single day is we do our 3 steps, and that's what we're, you know, kind of showing the world. And so that's, you know, going to be our first thing that we do. I'm going to actually kind of move past that, and we're going to go ahead and go into birthdays. And go ahead and take a couple of minutes and let's do some birthday posts. Different ideas on that. I know Deanne is great about what she does, about asking a question. I know one of hers was, how are you celebrating with, you know, everything that's going on, you know, just kind of asking a question first. You can do Snapchat filters, you can sing, you can do lots of things with that. So and of course that's inside Facebook, because we don't really have that capability inside of Instagram. And if we do, I don't know it. If anybody knows that, like pipe up, because I don't know that information if so. So let's just take a couple of minutes and do that. I know Denise is driving, so she's just listening. But we'll do that first. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot of this. And I always try to make sure I take a long snapshot, because in case you haven't noticed inside of your stories, unless you have an app that will fit it to the size of a story, then you're going to notice that there's a picture, and then you're going to notice that they very neatly pick the same color as your top and your bottom of the picture. I always think that's kind of cool that they do that, but otherwise it's not going to fit to your screen. So I kind of try to take a picture from away so that it's going to fit in my screen. So I'm just going to take a picture, because that's going to show community later in the day. I'll post that. Or I may not even post that today. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow. I actually took a picture last night of our Zoom that Tiffany led. So I'm probably going to use that one today to show community. And it's important, you know, to show people that they're joining a team. They're not joining just some sort of, you know, just you or whatever. You know, we have a community of friends. And I had somebody message me something the other day, and I was like, you know, you don't understand how much whatever it was they said means to me, because this business is so much more to me. And I know a lot of you will agree with this. It's brought people into my life that are my family. A lot of you are more of my family than my own family is. Some of you guys know my struggles with that, but like, I don't have anyone in my family that's supportive of this. I've had my brother made fun of me, like vocally on Facebook, still does. I literally had to block him as friend, because he would write different things on people's wall, like, oh, great, now you too. Like if he found out they were a thriver, and just, you know, different things like that. But it's important that you understand that you're in that community of, you know, we're in this, you know, as brothers and sisters. And so when we do have a bad day, or, you know, something go on in our lives, life's going to happen no matter what, that, you know, that you have this community of people to lean on and depend on and pray for you through whatever it is that you're going through. I think we've definitely had a lot of instances of that on our team. And it's important, you know, that people understand and they see that. I know I shared last week that I was doing a call with someone, and they could see, like, they were not even on our team. They were thinking about being on our team. And they were like, well, that's one thing I can definitely tell, is that you guys are a community. Like, you guys love each other, and you guys, you know. And I was like, man, it's so good. And people don't understand how impactful that is, that people literally see that. So definitely take a picture, post it in your stories, just to show community. It's okay if you post it on your wall too, whatever you want to do with that as far as your posts go. But, you know, just understand that that's the case. Okay. Today is Transformation Tuesday. Okay. So what I did yesterday is I went into our transformation post. I already made my post this morning. And what I did is I randomly scrolled, and I found one. I actually found Lois Stillwell. And I told you guys I was going to do this yesterday. I went in and I was like, Lois, holy cow, like, how much weight have you lost? And she wrote something like perfect. She was like, I lost 55 pounds. She said, but what's really awesome is I've lost 43.5 inches, and I didn't even measure my arms. So I know it's more than that. And so I literally I took the picture of her before and afters. I put it in WordSwag, did a little adjustments to it, faded it just a little bit. And then I snapshotted what she wrote, because those were her words. That wasn't me explaining that to someone. That wasn't me writing it out for her. Like, literally, it was her writing it. And so I literally overlaid that over it and faded that just a little bit. And it's, you know, and then this morning you can go look at my post. It's like, meet my friend Lois. Like, and for me, for her, the bigger relatability with people is not just seeing the physical appearance, but you can see, like, the girl is different on the inside out. She is different. The way she carries herself, the self-esteem she has, the confidence she has, you know, all the things. And I talked about this yesterday as far as successes. Like, you guys are all successful. I don't care what your numbers say. I don't care about any of that. You're successful in yourselves, you know, with what you've had going on inside of your body. I know I'm sitting here looking like Rochelle Roper. Like, I can tell you what she used to do compared to what she's got, you know, what she does now. That is a success story. Denise, was totally broken. She is a success story, like walking around, you know. Same thing, Candace Kellum, like some of your stories I don't know. And I know, Emily, you guys have had tremendous weight loss and just different things. You guys are all successful with your stories, you know. And so that's what you want to pull out, is you want to pull out those successes, and that's what you want to portray. So so today, Transformation Tuesday, you can pick yourself, you can pick someone else. If you want to pick someone else, that post is definitely inside of Thrive Strong, where you can go in and you can ask somebody, collect that receipt, have them write it out themselves, and then you can use it. I asked Lois, I'm like, hey, is it okay if I use your story tomorrow as my post? Because man, what a transformation. And you know what that does when somebody asks that? It's like, yes, like it does something to you, because you want to use my story because it impacted you. So like, that's an empowering thing in itself when you ask somebody permission to use their story, or use their before and afters, or what have you. So that's definitely something to do today for Transformation Tuesday. Let's go ahead and go inside of our Instagram stories today. And one thing I want you to look at with different things as far as what you've been posting, and just kind of do a self-analysis of what you've been getting back out of it. You know, are you posting to your target audience? You know, I know last week we talked about that as far as who's my ideal customer and who am I trying to talk to with this post. I did that myself this morning, and I'm like, well, like, I understand where I was going with that post, but did that post really, was I throwing that post out there just to make a post, or did I throw that post out there talking to that person I was trying to talk to? Okay. So, so we're going to go in and we're going to interact in our stories, but just kind of jot that down maybe, because I'm going to like leave that on my desk, because I don't want it to just be a chore that I'm making the post, that I'm showing up to work and I'm doing my job. I want to make sure I'm talking to the person that I'm trying to talk to when I'm creating my post. Okay. So, but anyways, let's go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm babbling. Let's go ahead and go inside of our stories and scroll over. And if you have notifications, start there. If you have notifications where someone responded back to you, start responding there. And just do some, you know, just do some commenting. If you don't, then go ahead and scroll over and start commenting on those people's posts and see if we can get some reactions going. So let's just take a few minutes and do that. Denise is driving, so she is not commenting right now, but she's, but I just appreciate that she showed up, even though I know she's driving. And this isn't the time when we're commenting on Thriver stuff. Like if we happen to see somebody that's a Thriver, we're not commenting, we're not loving on their stuff right now. These times blocks are specifically for growing our business. And one thing, I know Jessica is using, I think she's using Tailwind. I think still, I don't know, kind of. One thing I want to say that I noticed about Tailwind, well, you know what it does for me? It gives me a deadline. Like today, my post has to be up by 11:18. So it helps redirect my day and balance my day as far as when I have to show up in that area. So for me, it helps me schedule my day to know, okay, tomorrow it's at 7 o'clock. Okay, tonight, you know what I'm saying? And so even with the free application of that, it will, if you go in and you put in what hours you work or what have you, like it'll tell you. And I noticed that like I refreshed that area and it joggled and gave me different times based on last week's posts. So I don't know if you have to do that often. Like I think every week you're supposed to do that, and it'll give you a new time based on what your activity was like last week. So so I know I have an interview this morning at 10:30, and so as soon as I get off of this, I'm going to go in and schedule my post. And so that's something that's helped me a lot is I don't know, it's helped me create some balance with what I have to do. So I know that 30 minutes before 11:18, when my post is going to post, I know that I need to go in and I need to do some interactions inside of there so that more people are going to see that post. So, so that's just something like that has helped me personally. Whether I use it or not, at least it would give me the time slot of when I should post. Let me say it like that. So it's just been super helpful for me. But you can auto post, so I could literally schedule out the week with that. But I already know all of my times for the week, so I can literally go in and write that in my calendar, so I know when I have to have that information in there. So, but the more I use it, the more I like it. As far as hashtags go and things like that. Let's go ahead, excuse me, and go inside of and stay inside of Instagram, and let's go down and let's get some more let's go follow some more people. Let's go in and search one of your hashtags that are your 5. And let's go ahead and kind of click on some photos inside of there. Maybe it's a photo that you see that you like, go inside of there and look to see who follows that photo, because obviously you have something like-minded, and just let's go ahead and follow, let's say 5 people. Okay, so let's do that. And if you go to your search bar, you can kind of see what you've searched last. So a lot of the things for me is right there. And some of the hashtags I follow, like I follow dental assistants because I was a dental assistant for 27 years. So I know I have a lot relatable to those people, and I know where they are. I know how much money they make. Like I know all the things. So, so those are some of the people that I go in and look at. And so maybe it's something from your past that you look at. Okay. Now let's go ahead and head over to Facebook. And let's go ahead and click on our groups. And let's do a little bit of work inside of our groups today. If you have been working in your groups, you will be kind of updated with what's going on in there. If you haven't, that's okay too. and go ahead and kind of click on one of your groups and kind of see what's going on in there. If there's something in there that you can comment on, then go in and comment. Do a conscious comment on one of the posts that are in there. Okay, now I'm gonna ask a question. When you go to your profile area and you click on your three dots and you go to view as, my lawnmower people just got here, and you see your like your grid pop up of your photos. Does anybody know how, like I know how to change those photos, but I can't get those photos to pop up. Like I only have one photo that pops up versus all the ones that I've picked to show up in that highlighted area. If someone does know how to do that, I would love, maybe you don't have to do it today, but like if you want to teach that one day, I would love that, because here's what's really cool that I've seen. One of the best ones that I've seen, it was kind of a grid. So they like had their, is it 6 pictures or 9 pictures that shows up there normally? Does anybody know that? Is it 9? 9? Okay. Well, it was really cool because they had their 9 pictures that showed up. And so let's say it almost looked like there was a white, they had their 9 pictures. So it was like a picture, a white, white, and a white. And so one of them was something about following them. Like it showed you the graphic of how to follow them. Another one was, I don't remember if it was like some sort of, could have even been something about samples. And then one was a little bit about business. And then one was a little bit about joining their team or something like that. So it was like very visual. So you could look very quickly and kind of see what they did or what they were about. And so it kind of gave you a quick walkthrough of that. But my question was like, I think, I don't know that I know how to get them on there because I've tried to get mine on there for them to stick in that 9 area. But would you not have to post that picture to pick it as one of your highlights? Just a question. I don't know the answer to it. So, because that's something I have that on my list of things to work on because I saw it on, I don't even remember who it was. It was on somebody else that's a 200K. It was on their page. Actually, it was somebody I'd never heard of. And I went to it and I was like, oh, that's really pretty. Yes, it's picked from the post pictures. Okay. So then you would have to pick so you would have to make a post of follow. I did mine and it shows on my laptop, but not on my computer. See, and that's what I have on. It doesn't show on my phone, but it shows on my, but I was on my phone when I saw theirs. So there must be a way to make that happen. That's something I'm researching and looking, but if anybody knows, it shows on the phone, Emily? Okay. So maybe that's something you can pop in.
Yeah, I'll look it up and see how I did it.
Okay.
But mine shows almost like an Instagram grid.
Okay.
Right on the left-hand side under my link tree.
Okay. Because how I've done it, like it shows up on my laptop, but it does not show up on my phone. But I think that's something that if we teach that to everyone, that's something that's very visual that can be a huge help with what people are seeing right away whenever they pop on their page. So if you want to pick a day, either tomorrow or the next day, that maybe you can help teach us how to do that. For those of us that don't, I would definitely love and appreciate that. Okay, and so next let's talk about a sample splits. One thing I want to talk about samples, and Tiffany kind of touched on this last night. I know that she used to sell samples because she had to sell samples. It was one of those things that she had to get her. This is a business, okay? Let me just start off by saying that. There is nothing in this business that says you have to give away your samples, okay? There is nothing. This is your stock. You've paid for it. You've earned it. Whether you've paid for it, whether you got it for free or whether you paid for it, okay? So there is a monetary value on that. And then you can decide whether you're selling those samples or what you're doing with those samples. Even if you bought them from the company, the really cool thing is shipping is included in those samples, okay? And those are cheap samples because they get really cool packaging and it's 3 days and then they mail them for you. But I want to talk for a second about that because a lot of the mentality that goes behind a sample is that it's free. Okay, and so if you're giving me something for free to try, then I don't really have a lot of value on that sample. Okay, and so I know I have run into that. So I wanted to talk for a few minutes about that today because there is definitely some psychology behind that. Whenever you're just kind of handing out samples and you have that. I'm sorry if you hear my people out there, and you almost have that mentality like everything is hinging on this sample, like they have to order from this sample because my success totally depends on whether they are going to order from this free sample that I'm giving them. And so yes, Rochelle, and I know Susie used to do that. Like she would always, and I think they do ghost because there's no value behind it. And if you think about it, scroll through Facebook and look at all the people that are doing makeup. Look at all the people that are doing all sorts of things that, and they're not offering you anything for free. And so we've gotten into this mentality that we have to give away samples for free, and that's the only way we're going to grow our business, and all of these things, and it's really false. And I know Susie used to do it all the time. She used to always have samples with her, and it was $20 bill, $20 bill, $20 bill. She used to do 20s because it was just easy for her to do it in that way. And a lot of times you're making money in that process because you maybe ordered it and you got it for free, because you ordered it with your credits, okay? But I want you to understand there is value on that, obviously, okay? What we have for me is gold, and it changed all of our lives. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on this Zoom right now. And so just that mentality behind, I don't have to give someone my sample. I can sell that sample. And even if you sold it at a discounted price, I saw another promoter do that just recently where she posted something on her wall and said, hey, I'm about to have a lot of samples in my hands. I'm going to let them go for $5 each. And it's going to include free shipping. So she probably gave them a break. Maybe she ordered those with her credits. I don't know. Maybe she did $72 worth of samples with her credits. But people were signing up left and right because there was that $5, and so I just want you to understand you don't have to give away your samples. There is definitely value behind your samples. If you're using it okay, a lot of you haven't done sampling inside of Instagram. So maybe that's an area that you can dabble in, is doing something inside of Instagram. Do not be married to the outcome of that. If you don't have anyone raise their hand, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that our audience isn't there yet, okay? But I wanted to talk for a minute about that because there is so much psychology behind it. I know I've definitely doled out some, and I've even walked them through the funnel and had them ghost. And so there's definitely that, and so for me, I always had them walk through, like, they have to create their own, account to get my sample. If they're not going to take the time to fill out the account, then they're not even probably going to take the product, right? And all they're wanting is my free sample. So my samples are gold. So I'm not just going to give them to everybody. I would rather have nobody using it than me just giving it to somebody that's not going to use it right or that's not going to follow through with it. I definitely think what Lisa Fuller said was really smart with when she does a sample, like, okay, well, when you fall in love with the sample, because I know you're going to, are you planning on ordering after that? And I have asked that question. And if they say no, then you know what, the timing just isn't right yet. Then you let me know when you're in a position to do it. And then by all means, we're going to get that sample hookup for you, and that sort of thing. And so there's nothing wrong with that. You guys, you are in a business. You are not in a business to hand out free stuff all day long. You are in a business to help your family, to grow, to impact people. And so make sure you're putting that value on that. Yes. And so that's just something, and there's nothing wrong with creating a list of samplers either. So, you know, maybe one idea is that and if anybody has PayPal, then that's how you do your samples. You have them pay for those samples via PayPal. And then when you get your list of 5 people, then you go in and you order, or whatever the amount is that equals your $72, then that's when you turn around and you go in and order those samples. Okay. And so what you're doing is creating that list of people. And then whenever you have your list of people, then you go in and then you get those samples bought, and then you can literally go in and send them. So then all of a sudden you've got those people sampling. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about that for a few minutes. I definitely think it's good. I don't think it's bad to do samples, you know, as long as you have the right person sampling. You know, you don't want someone that's just sitting there trying to get the coupon, trying to get the free thing. Yes, I'll try it because it's free. You know, those are not the people we're trying to sample. We want the people that are literally looking for a lifestyle change. They're looking for something that's going to better them, you know. And so definitely wrap your mind around that. As far as your samples go, I do think, you know, unless you've got products sitting in your house that you're trying to sample out, it is the cheapest way to do it through the company, as far as them sending it out and all that kind of good stuff. The really cool thing about that too is I recently had somebody that ordered through another person, and I went in and I'm like, because I saw her post it, and I went in and created a support ticket and said, listen, like, here's the order number. I sampled this, you know, person. Here it is. Here's her account. Here's all the things. And they ended up canceling her other account because I sampled her through the company. So there was proof that I sampled. And so that's a protective measure in my mind, because I did a ton of work to get this girl, and then she went and ordered from somebody that she didn't know that was her friend that did it, you know. And so I'm like, so so that's just something to think about as far as how that part of it goes. But so at any rate, that's just something I wanted to pop on, and they are pretty. If you haven't got one, order one and send it to yourself, because they're pretty. The presentation is beautiful, and it's $12, you know. And so to me, that's super cost effective to do it. And it gives them all the information. It sends them emails. It sends you an email reminding you to check on them, you know, just all the things. So I think that's a great way to do it. Also, don't forget that a lot of people enter our world or our company because of one product, and it might not be the 3 steps. You know, I've seen a lot of posts lately about balance being the tummy flattener, or, you know, whatever verbiage you want to use to throw something out there to people. There's nothing wrong with using those avenues to get someone in the door. So some of your posts, maybe in your stories, can be something about highlighting one product or showing a before and after, knowing that somebody, for instance, the one that I did the other day on Activate, you know, where you can collect that verbiage and use it to highlight a product. You know, maybe go in and ask if anybody's used Balanced and why do you use it, and tell me what you've noticed. And people are going to comment on that, and that'll be something that you can use for your post. So a lot of the times that we're doing our posts, we're doing it as a stepping stone for the next thing that we're going to do, for the next post that we're going to do. Okay. So that's just something to think about out there as far as that part. And that is, and if anybody has ideas, and Emily, if you want to do that one of those days, if you want to pop in and let me know which day works better for you, then we definitely want to do that. Yesterday, we talked about weekly goals. And like last night on Tiffany's, and yesterday whenever we did ours, we talked about our weekly goals. And so today what I want you to do is I want you to kind of draw down from that goal that you wrote, and I want you to write a plan for how you're going to do that. And maybe it's just that you're going to be messaging more people. Maybe you're going to be posting in a different way to attract those people that we're trying to get, versus just throwing a random post out there to feel like we clocked in for the day. Okay. So it's kind of like saying, well, I want to go to Tennessee, but I don't even have a map of how to get there. So I'm just going to take off in my car and hope that eventually I show up in Tennessee. So I don't know. And so many times that's how our posts are. We don't really have a roadmap, or we don't really have an intention behind what we're doing each day. So I'm trying to kind of get some intention behind that to do we're not just clocking in. We're not just making a post so that it feels like we showed up for the day. Because at the end of the day, we want to say, well, what did I do today? What did I do to help me get towards that? And sometimes I have to branch off and say, I didn't do a good job at that today. Tomorrow I need to go in and make sure I'm super intentional with this. And I think of a lot of things when I'm running, or at nighttime, I'm in the shower, like somewhere where I don't have pen and paper. So I have to make sure I go in and jot notes down. But just remember, what you give time to is what's going to grow. So if you're putting your time, make sure you're putting your time in an area that you're trying to grow. Because above all else, that's what happens. If I spend all of my time only growing Instagram, then I'm concentrating there, and then my Facebook stuff is going to fall off. So you just want to make sure that you do that. And our May Mayhem is going great, whether you're in May Mayhem or not in Mayhem, wherever you're at with that. My promo still up. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Emily. And so tomorrow we'll kind of learn that grid, and I'll do some research and find some things that I saw posted that were really cool too. I just completely saw a squirrel, but maybe him. Whether you're in that or not, you can gain points in the same way. Once you get to 5, pop that blue heart in there, and then you'll be in the drawing for next week. It's just a way to keep us all accountable for what we're doing. Okay. And so that's just something that's out there right now to keep us all in the game, and all posting like we're supposed to, and all showing up like we're supposed to. And I can't say that, I appreciate you guys more than you know, just for showing up every single day, just for being on here with me every day. It does a lot for me, to make me show up and do my research and learn the things. I told Joe, I was like, I've been so tired at night. I don't know what's going on. He's like, well, I can tell you what's going on. He's like, you're in this full blown learn everything you can mode, and your mind is not resting. He's like, you gotta, because you're trying to learn this, and you're trying to learn this, and you're trying to do, he's like, you gotta figure out some kind of balance with that, because I can't, I'm trying to absorb so much information at one time. So create balance, because I'm not always good at that. And do those time slots, through your day, where you're spending 5 minutes specifically doing this. You're getting followers. You're spending 5 minutes commenting. You're spending 5 minutes, here and there, so that you're not with your phone all day long in your hand, and, that sort of thing. That balance is so important, because not having it equals burnout. Okay. And I know that very well myself. So we don't want to create that. But you guys, it is Tuesday. So tomorrow is Wealth Wednesday. So be thinking of things for tomorrow that we can do. Today's national days were really weird. So I don't think there was really anything to say about that. But let me tell you what it was. Today is the 12th. It's National Odometer Day. It's Nutty Fudge Day. Fibromyalgia Awareness Day. That might be something good to not to indirectly say something about. That's something that's really good, because you might get people that follow you in that area. If you posted something about not being tired or sore, or, but be careful with compliance on that. But that's just something to think about. Okay. Wealth Wednesday's tomorrow. So we'll be thinking about different things with that, and have some ideas. And then Emily will pop on and show us how to do what I asked her. And if anybody else, Candace, if you have anything that you know that's working, or techie wise, or just anything like that that is helping, please, by all means, let us know, and work, because we're all in this together. That's why we're all on here. No one is different than anybody else. We are all people on here. There are no ranks. There are no nothing. We are all on here together, working together. That's why we're here. We're working together every single day. So thank you guys for popping on this morning. Have a wonderful day. Lean on me, lean on everybody in here. If you need help, if you have questions, if you're having a bad day, that's what we're here for. Okay. So thank you so much. And you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.